Let's be honest here. Every few months, some genius on the internet decides to recycle the same tired insult. Singapore is just another Hong Kong. Really? That's like saying Coke and Pepsi are the same drink. Sure, they're both sugary liquids that will eventually ruin your teeth. But try telling a die-hard Coke drinker they're actually sipping Pepsi. They'll call the United Nations. Now, here's the funny part. The people who keep parroting this comparison are usually the ones who've never stepped foot in either city. They're the same people who think dim sum is just Chinese tapas and who get their geopolitical education entirely from TikTok dances. But wait, I know what you're thinking. Professor Nam, why should I care about this? Oh, trust me, you should. Because the moment you scratch the surface, you realize this comparison says more about how clueless the world is about Asia than it does about Singapore or Hong Kong. And if you stay with me for the next few minutes, I promise you'll never hear that lazy line, Singapore equals sign Hong Kong, without laughing in the person's face. So buckle up, grab your overpriced bubble tea, and let's dismantle this nonsense step by step. And remember, stick around until the end, because I'll tell you which city secretly won, and why the loser isn't even on the map anymore. All right, let's start with the obvious. Calling Singapore just another Hong Kong is the intellectual equivalent of saying all Asians look the same. It's lazy, uninformed, and frankly embarrassing. Yet people keep repeating it like parrots on caffeine. Why? Because it sounds smart, until you realize it's built on zero knowledge. To the average outsider, both cities are small, both speak English with accents they don't understand, and both have skyscrapers. Boom, case closed, right? Wrong. By that logic, New York and Detroit are the same because they both have abandoned buildings. But let's dig deeper. Hong Kong was shaped by British colonialism, opium wars, and, let's not sugarcoat it, being the awkward teenager stuck between Beijing and the West. Singapore, on the other hand, kicked out Malaysia, got its act together, and said, fine, we'll just build an entire country from scratch with zero resources except humidity and chewing gum bans. One's a semi-autonomous territory perpetually waiting for Beijing's mood swings. The other is a sovereign state that weaponized efficiency into a national identity. And yet, the internet insists they're the same. That's like saying Gordon Ramsay and your drunk uncle at a barbecue are the same because they both cook meat. Sure, technically true, but would you really eat the uncle's medium rare hot dog? Here's the real kicker. People who make this claim often think they're exposing some deep truth. In reality, they're just revealing they can't tell the difference between global financial hub and political tinderbox. And that difference matters, because it's the reason one city thrives while the other constantly wonders whether it'll even exist in 10 years. So the next time someone says, Singapore equals sign Hong Kong, just smile and say, ah, so you're the kind of person who thinks Taco Bell is real Mexican food. Got it. Now here's where the lazy comparison gets really cute. People say, but Professor Nam, Singapore and Hong Kong share the same history. They were both British colonies. Oh, really? By that logic, India, Australia and Kenya must all be the same country too, right? Because nothing says shared identity, like curry, kangaroos and lions. Let's break it down. Yes, both cities had British fingerprints all over them. But while Hong Kong was basically leased like a dodgy Airbnb that Beijing eventually wanted back, Singapore was kicked out of Malaysia like an unwanted roommate, and then had to figure out how to survive alone. One was a colonial rental, the other was an eviction notice that turned into a startup success story. Hong Kong's story is, congratulations, you're now a pawn in the world's longest custody battle between Britain and China. Singapore's story is, congratulations, you're on your own, no resources, no water, and your neighbours think you won't last 2 years. Good luck. And somehow, Singapore not only survived but became the smug, straight A student of Asia, while Hong Kong became the kid constantly grounded by Beijing. But here's the irony. People cling to this as shared history excuse, as if colonialism is some kind of personality quiz. Oh, you were colonized by the British too. Wow, same, we're basically twins. Please. That's like saying two people who got food poisoning at McDonald's are soulmates. History matters, yes, but context matters more. Hong Kong's destiny was always chained to China's mood swings. Singapore's destiny was to weaponize discipline, sweat, and English grammar exams into a national survival strategy. One inherited drama, the other created order. So the next time someone says, they're the same, look, the Union Jack was there once. Just nod politely and ask, do you also believe Canada and Zimbabwe are basically identical? Watch their brain explode in real time. Ah, yes, the cultural angle. Another fan favorite in the Singapore equals sign Hong Kong playbook. People love to say, well, they're both Asian cities with lots of Chinese people, so culturally they must be the same. Fantastic logic. By that measure, London and New York are the same city because both speak English and sell bad pizza. Let's be clear. Hong Kong's cultural DNA is Cantonese, dim sum, and Bruce Lee posters on every other restaurant wall. It's the city where yelling at waiters is a love language, and where a mahjong table can solve family disputes faster than therapy. Singapore? Completely different beast. Try walking into a hawker centre, shouting in Cantonese, and see how far you get. You'll be surrounded by aunties speaking Singlish, an Indian uncle making prata in the corner, and a Malay hawker reminding you that nasi lemak beats wonton noodles any day of the week. Hong Kong is Cantonese pride with a side of colonial hangover. Singapore is organised chaos, a country where four official languages somehow coexist, and where la and lei can completely change the meaning of a sentence. It's cultural fusion, not carbon copy, and don't even get me started on food. People who say Singapore and Hong Kong are the same have clearly never tasted laksa at 3 a.m. or tried to survive a chili crab battle without napkins. Hong Kong food culture is about dim sum carts and milk tea strong enough to resurrect the dead. Singaporean food culture is about sweating through sambal while bragging that your chili tolerance proves you're a real local. So no, culturally they are not the same. Unless you also believe that Taco Bell and a Michelin-starred Mexican restaurant are identical, because hey, both serve tortillas, right? Oh yes, the economic angle, the ultimate lazy man's shortcut. Both Singapore and Hong Kong are financial hubs, therefore same city. By that logic, McDonald's and a Michelin restaurant are the same because both sell food. Please spare me. Hong Kong became a financial hub because Britain needed a cash register conveniently parked next to China. It was a trading post, a bank, and later a casino for global capital, all under the protective umbrella of one country, two systems. Singapore. Completely different playbook. They didn't stumble into finance by colonial accident. They engineered it like a science project. They built laws, tax regimes, and even an army of bureaucrats whose main hobby is regulating you into efficiency. Here's the contrast. Hong Kong thrived on chaos, unrestricted capital flows, the wild west of property speculation, and financial cowboys doing deals in smoke-filled rooms. Singapore thrives on order. Your paperwork is filed before you even think about it. Your contracts are enforced by the minute. And if you spit chewing gum on the street, you're basically on Interpol's most wanted list. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Beijing. Hong Kong's financial status lives and dies by whatever mood the Chinese government wakes up in. You want IPOs? Oops, sorry. Beijing says no today. You want freedom of capital? Depends if Xi Jinping feels generous this week. Singapore doesn't have that problem. It's neutral, boring, and stable, exactly what investors want when they're parking billions of dollars. So yes, they're both financial hubs, but one is like gambling on a volatile crypto token, and the other is like buying Swiss government bonds. Both involve money, but one keeps you awake at night while the other puts you to sleep. The only people who think Singapore and Hong Kong are the same financially are the ones who also think Elon Musk and Warren Buffett have the same career path because both are billionaires. Congratulations, your economic analysis is now officially TikTok level. Now let's talk lifestyle, because apparently skyscrapers and expensive apartments are enough for some people to declare, see, same city. Right. And by that logic, living in a shoebox in Manhattan is the same as living in a shoebox in Mumbai. Congratulations, you've mastered the art of ignoring reality. Let's compare. Hong Kong's lifestyle is basically work until midnight, eat instant noodles in an apartment the size of your washing machine, and then squeeze onto the MTR like a sardine with anxiety. Singapore? Work until 6 p.m., eat at a hawker centre for the price of a Starbucks latte, then take a clean, air-conditioned MRT home where people don't elbow you like they're auditioning for UFC. In Hong Kong, housing is so bad that coffin homes aren't horror movie sets. They're actual rentals. In Singapore, even low-income families can get government-subsidized HDB flats with running water and windows that open. Windows, imagine that. Hong Kongers would sell a kidney for that luxury. Weather? Hong Kong gets typhoons so strong they send office chairs flying down the street. Singapore gets thunderstorms that last 20 minutes and then everyone just goes back to complaining about humidity. Transportation? Hong Kong's buses might be double-deckers, but Singapore's buses have Wi-Fi and air conditioning so cold you could store sushi on them. And nightlife. Don't even get me started. Hong Kong nightlife used to be legendary, before Beijing decided fun was illegal. Now you need permits just to raise a glass. Singapore's nightlife may not be as wild, but at least no one is checking your Instagram posts for national security violations while you're dancing at Zouk. So no, lifestyle isn't the same. One is survival mode with a dim sum break. The other is an efficiency machine with chili crab on the side. Both unique, but only one lets you sleep without wondering if your ceiling will collapse on you tonight. Ah yes, the last desperate card people play. But both are run by strict governments, so they're basically the same. That's like saying North Korea and South Korea are the same because both have the word Korea in the name. Bravo. Let's start with Hong Kong. Its politics are basically a tragic soap opera. Once upon a time, it had protests, free speech, and people waving British flags at rallies. Now, it's under Beijing's watchful eye 24/7. Freedom of the press? Gone. Elections? Rigged tighter than a reality TV show finale. Say the wrong thing on Twitter, and congratulations, you're now a national security threat. Singapore? Completely different ballgame. Is it strict? Absolutely. You'll get fined for chewing gum, jaywalking, or even for being too creative with your trash disposal. But here's the catch. It's consistent. Singapore isn't pretending to be a democracy on Monday and then rolling out tanks on Tuesday. It tells you up front, play by the rules and you'll get clean streets, working trains, and a government that actually balances the budget. Imagine that, competent authoritarianism. Hong Kong's governance is a puppet show where the strings are pulled from Beijing. Singapore's governance is a control freak roommate who labels the ketchup bottle and fines you if you use it without permission. Annoying? Sure, but you'll never run out of ketchup. So yes, both are strict. But one is strict with clarity, and the other is strict with chaos. If you can't tell the difference, that says more about you than it does about either city. Because here's the bottom line. Comparing Singapore and Hong Kong politically is like comparing a well-oiled German car to a second-hand bicycle with broken brakes. They'll both technically move, but only one gets you where you're going without crashing into a lamppost.